Hello everyone, I'm Colin Cadet, and today I'm back again with another episode of 5 tips and tricks that you can use your oscillating or multi-tool for. And there's some things you're going to see today that you've never seen before because I've come up with some great new ideas. Before we jump into it, just a quick reminder, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I invite you to do that. Let's get started looking at the multi-tool tips. So for a few people who don't know what a multi-tool is, this is an oscillating or multi-tool. Basically, it has a little blade on the end, and that little blade vibrates very quickly back and forth. And the purpose of that, you can do a few things. You can see I've got some attachments here. There's different blades and accessories that you can get for it, but mostly it's used for cutting. And I'm just going to turn it on briefly, and you'll be able to see that vibrating back and forth. So that's what we're looking at today. For multi-tools, there are basically two kinds of blades, and they come in different shapes. These are the same shape here, but you'll notice this one is carbide. It's almost impossible to sharpen carbide and to do a good job. But this little blade here is made out of a hardened steel, and those are fairly easy to sharpen, and you can do a good job of those. Let me show you how you can do that. So what you'll need to sharpen these blades is a 3-sided file, and they come in a variety of sizes. This is an 8-inch. You can use something like this, but it's a little big. I like something a little bit smaller. This is a 6-inch, and you can tell when you look closely at it that the teeth are that much finer, and I think this does a better job. The other thing you'll need to do is to clamp your blade in a vise, and you can see I'm using my machinist vise for this, and it's nice and firm in there. You can use any vise as long as it's sturdy and held well in place. So that shows you how fine the teeth are on that little file. Now, when we file, if you've ever sharpened a chainsaw, you know that we don't go on a chainsaw, you don't go back and forth to file. You file in one direction, then you lift the file and go like that, lift the file and go like that. Files only cut in one direction, and you can see that they have a direction on the teeth, and we do the same thing for sharpening these little blades. And what you want to do is find a blade, or put your blade in and find a notch, and just give one push forward like that. Move on to the next tooth, like that. Typically I need to hold on the end of it, but I can't do that because you can't see. But then you push forward. You can see I'm trying to find the teeth there. Next one, and just do that. And sometimes you might need to do 2 passes on each one. You could even do 2 passes with each tooth. You could go 1, 2, and you'll be astounded how quickly you can actually do that. If you can hold it properly, of course, it makes a big difference. And just do 1 pass forward, 1 pass forward, like that, and go all the way along. It'll take you a few minutes, but you know what? You can sharpen that file or sharpen that blade, and it will be brand new. It'll be as new, it'll be as sharp as it was when it was new, and you will get more life out of your blades, and you don't have to go running to the store every time one of these blades gets dull. So here's what the methodology looks like. You can hold a tip like this. I like to put the edge of my wrist on there and just go one push forward. I can actually see, I can feel the difference that that's making. I'm going to show you a close-up of all the iron filings that are on here. All of that is all from that blade, the teeth in that blade. So you do make a difference. It does make a difference, and you can actually feel that sharpening. So I've just done a mock-up here of, let's say, a wooden wall with some trim on it. And this could be baseboard, it could be trim around a door or a window. And sometimes people will put monster screws in, and whenever you try and lift the trim off, it starts damaging it, breaks up. But what you can do with one of these little multi-tools is get yourself a piece of veneer and sneak down in behind. And in this case, you're going to want to use the wood and metal because you're going to be cutting metal. And just sneak down in beside. Now, I'm not going to do it. I'm just showing you the methodology. I'll turn it on, but I'm not going to try and pull these nails out because you're going to see how it works. But just go like that. You'll see how quickly that you can sneak down in behind there and just zip those little nails off there, and it will save your trim and it will save your wall. Now, one of the attachments that comes with some of these tools, or you can purchase it as an accessory, is a little sanding foot. Now, you may look at this and sneer, but these work really well. And one of the ways they work well is if you happen to have some of this new 3M extract sanding disc, they come in 6 or 5 inch format. But look, you can put your multi-tool foot on there, just draw around it. And this, remember, this is a hook and loop. So you can just draw what it's going to look like that. Now, don't use your good scissors because this is a ceramic coating on this. I'm using some tin snips here and cutting around, and this is, you will be amazed how quickly I can sand off this logo on this 2x4 here. Now, this is hook and loop, this is hook and loop. You just take it and put it on like that, and you can start sanding. Look at that. Now, I'm using 80 grit here, but that is just outstanding. So if you're sanding in an area that's hard to get into, and maybe it's between rungs on a chair, something like that, this is perfect. Or if you're just wanting to sand a little small little area, a little plaque or something like that, this is a great way of doing it. And if you can have got this, or you're trying this out, this will just triple the speed of how quickly you can actually sand that down. Just an excellent product. Now, for anybody who's sanding inside curves, that's always a challenge, and today I'm going to show you one option that you can use a multi-tool for, and I'm going to make it right in front of you because it's easy. I've taken a dowel, I don't know what size that is, I think it's 1 inch, and I've cut it in half so you can see that it's rounded on one side and flat on the other. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put some CA glue on this side here. I'm going to get it out of the way because next I want to spritz the blade. And put some accelerator on the blade, and I'm going to drop that right on top of that, like that. And that is bonded instantly. And that's what that looks like. Now, the next thing, I've got a little bit of overflow here. I'm going to spritz that locks it in place. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go and get some hook and loop. And you know, you can buy this stuff comes in all sorts of different forms. Hook and loop on one side. Now, I've taken the hook side of this, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap it around this side here. I've cut it a little bit long, and I did that on purpose because I want to wrap it all the way around there. And I trim that right about there, and I'll remeasure that. I've cut it a little bit short, but that should work. Now, this is sticky back, so we're going to peel the backing off of this. I'm going to take that and wrap that around. I want to wrap it right onto the top so that it sticks. Okay, so now we've got hook and loop on there. I'm going back to the 3M extract here. I'm going to cut that off, and I'm going to make a little something like that. Okay, check this out. that and that like that, and that's going to hold on to that. Okay. Okay, so check this out. Now, first of all, most of these tools have a speed adjustment on them. But look at what we can do with this. If you have circles or holes or inside arcs, look at what you can do. Very quickly go around the inside. I've just done the edge here, but you can go right inside and do all of the insides and get perfectly sanded holes or arcs. The next thing I want to show you is how you can be accurate with these blades. And what I have here, I've just made a mock-up of maybe the edge of a picture frame or the inside of a box or something. And you can see that I've actually used a router, and because it's round, it cuts a round square. And maybe if it's a picture frame, for example, maybe you forgot to cut the rabbet in the back. You can cut it after using a rabbeting tool, a rabbeting bit. But of course you get this round edge here, and nobody makes picture frame glass with round edges. So how do you cut that out? Well, you can chisel that out if you want. But you know, you can use your multi-tool to do that as well, and you can get a very accurate cut. I'm going to show you how you can do that with a little made-up jig. So there's that curve. I know it's a little bit hard to see, but you can see that I've also clamped just a board in here, and that board really acts as a jig. But what I want to do, I'm going to use it because, as you know, these tools, when they move around like that, they also tend to move back and forth because they're hard to hold on to. The whole machine is jiggling. But what we want to do is we want to make the tool flat in one plane, because it really only goes like this, and we can take that tool and slide that right in there and get a very accurate cut. And I'm going to show you how we can do that. See how fine that cut is? Now, if I took that board and ran it down there, I can get a perfect cut on both sides. Then, because it's flat on the inside, I can do the same thing and run it through there. So I can cut that little arc out of there and get a perfect, quick, easy cut. And because this is behind, this is the back of the picture frame, if you overcut something a little bit, it isn't even going to matter. But you can, even if you have to cut, maybe you have to cut all the way along here, you can get a nice accurate cut just by having it run against something that's flat. And you can see just how perfect that little cut is. But if you try holding that by hand, the blade's going to bounce up and down and around. So good accurate cuts by using a little simple jig. Well, that concludes my video on using the multi-tool in, of all places, the workshop. And it's not really a tool that we think of in using in the workshop, although I do use it around my CNC machine for cutting out the tabs, but usually it's more of a construction type of tool. I also did another video on using the multi-tool, so all sorts of tips and tricks that you can use this for. And I'll put a link to that video over here, because that video is about a year or two old. So lots of other information that you may be interested in as well. I'm Colin Canet for Woodwork Web. Thanks for watching.